Hi everyone, we are live.
Hi everyone.
Hi. Let us guys know in the chat if you can hear and see us. Welcome to the weekly Makers Marathon, week number 7. My name is Yuri. I'm the co-founder and head of design at Robo Wunderkind. Hello. And together with me, Sofia.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Sophia and I'm the educator in the Robo Wunderkind. So I'm the one who's creating all the projects and some lessons for you guys.
Cool. So welcome everyone to the week number 7. We're really excited to be that far in the Makers Marathon already. Like, we had so many amazing projects, and I want to thank everyone who is participating for your amazing submissions. You guys are just incredible. You're awesome. Okay, just for everybody who is joining today for the first time, on the right side, we have the chat window where we speak with each other. So if you have any questions or you want to comment on something we are doing, or you have some ideas, just write it there. We see it and we can respond to you live. If you have any specific questions which you might be afraid that it's going to be lost in the chat or somewhere, feel free to leave them in the questions tab, also on the right side. And we also have the polls tab where we'll ask a few questions to you a bit later. So if I think we can start with our presentation for this week. The last week was really cool. We saw a lot of cool projects with the story making, movie making. So this one is actually gonna be even more exciting, I think. So it's gonna be connected to design and engineering, I think. Like many of you will find it very interesting. So let me share the screen. Okay, so you should be able to see it right now.
Yeah, we see it. That's great.
Awesome. Okay, so welcome everyone to the week number 7 of Makers Marathon. So the Makers Marathon is 10 weeks, 10 challenges, 10 webinars designed for parents and children to learn and explore the robotics and coding and learn something new and spend great time together. So the way Makers Marathon is structured, every Tuesday we make an online workshop and webinar like this one, where we review the project submissions, your project submissions from the previous week. We pick the winner and we announce the next challenge. And so you have the time during the week to come up with a project and submit it until Sunday, when we're gonna pick the winner for this week. So this is the week 7. So every week you have the chance, by submitting your projects, you have a chance to win additional modules. If you collect the 7 stars or participate in the Makers Marathon 7 times, you have a chance to win the super prize, which we'll give away by the end of week 10. So it's actually really close. So how we give out the stars, by the end of the webinar, I will post the link to the star here in the chat, so you can just download it and print it out, put it on the wall. So you have the nice track of how many marathons you have participated.
I actually just realized that today is a very important marathon because it's the 7th one. So today we will have already some people who already participated in 7 webinars. This is quite, a point. You can kind of celebrate it.
Yeah. I think some of the people who are in the chat right now, like they they definitely been well and participated for quite some weeks. So guys, if anyone have been here with us for 7 weeks, we love you. Thank you so much for being here. This is really amazing. Okay. So let's get to the projects review for last week. Actually, we had so many amazing projects this week that we decided to pick not only one winner, but three. This kind of
three winners, yeah, but just couldn't decide. You know, the short movies were so amazing. One of them my favorite, and I will explain later why it's my favorite. But all of them are just amazing. You know, just wow, incredible.
Yes. So let's start with the first one. The first one is from Rem Laupi, who has been participating in a lot of our challenges actually. So this one is about the robot tower, and which kind of like you know those towers in the airports, right? Where it kind of like controls all the incoming planes and outgoing planes. So this one about that, and they did a really good job in recreating those kind of buildings and filming the story around it. So I'm actually not sure if you can hear the voice, hear the sound. So yeah, you can see the robot tower is moving over there. And they have a plane which is about to take off. And yeah, so what I liked about it is how they kind of like filmed the yeah, so how they filmed the view from the cabin. Where, yeah, they use the car to kind of like simulate the cabin of the airplane, which was really cool, I think.
This is so, like the movie effect, like, you know, when you're this is just
so is actually the first winner of our this week's Makers Marathon, and it gets the award for the most. I think it was
the most creative one. Yeah, we decided it's like creativity just kind of blew our minds, and we're like, wow, this is just the whole plane lands in there. So yeah, we decided to give it the prize for the most creative project from all of them.
Yeah, so congratulations to Laupi. And we're getting to the next project from Nicola and Iona. Also really happy to see your project, guys. Thank you for participating. Once again, you have amazing projects every time. This one is not exception. And I really love this storyboard here with like every shot planned and described here at the bottom.
Very precise work, I would say. This is cool.
Yes, and the props are just, yeah, there's every time a lot of effort and time put into props. And so the yeah, so I really like this robot DJ. Like, it just makes so much sense with those wheels, you know, moving. Like, it looks just incredible. So take a look at this. Yeah, so yeah, their project consisted of many different robots. Like, I guess like doing different jobs, or like playing in band or something like this. So yeah, many different projects. Just with a lot of effort and like mechanical elements put into it. Like this robot guitar player is pretty incredible. Yeah, so this one was the second project. So what do you think about it, Sophia?
Oh, I loved it. First of all, I love music. You know, I'm a fan of music, so the robot DJ was my like one of the funniest things I've seen. This is so super cool. Yeah, you know, I'm a fan of DJs like and music, and you know, I just live in Berlin, but yeah, I love it.
Awesome. So yeah, let's get to the next one. So the next project was from the cells, I guess. So this is pretty long, so I will probably not play all of it. But yeah, so it includes the story about the robot which like is a friend. And yeah, you have a few characters who are, I guess, like trying to like scare him or something like that. Which was also a pretty good project. Like it has really like high quality voiceovers and yeah, like the editing. So it's also a really good project. Good job with that. Okay, so let's jump to the next one. And I think this was one of ours. This was the second winner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so this one is.
This one is the most complex one.
Yeah.
Because they use Blockly, so we decided to give them the prize for the complexity of the project because it's like just uses Blockly, and we really want to highlight this is very, very complex project.
Yeah. So what like really amazed me in this one was the this transformation thing. How it's transformed from the forklift to the plumber. It was pretty cool. Yeah, so let's go do this. So it goes there halfway, then turn, then goes there.
It's so cool.
Yeah, so it's a really like a real transformer. So yeah, it just blew me away. And the code is like, yeah,
quite complex. I see that from here.
Yeah. And so
and there is also the movie they filmed. So this is just the part of the project, and they also filmed the movie. You can go to Instagram and watch it. It also has some, voiceover and so on. So like titles and everything. And may I just introduce the last project because I'm in love with this.
Sure, of course.
It's on our presentation. Should I just start screening my screen?
Okay, if it's in the slides, you should be able to play it from there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think you can. I will stop sharing the screen then, and you can take a look at that.
Yeah, perfect. So the last winner of our week 6, sorry, is the movie. It's an episode of Star Wars. And I'm a fan, like a huge fan of Star Wars. So this was my absolute favorite one. And I was just, we should give a prize. And it's just so good. It's like so amazing. And I added it to presentation with some screenshots. So we will send you the presentation and you can watch the whole movie, and I'll just try to play it. I'm not sure if you hear that, probably not. Can you hear the sound?
I don't think so, no. I cannot hear it.
No, but I mean, just like I'm a huge fan of the movie, and I also a huge fan of this shark movie. It's just the storyline and I would say costumes and props is just so good. So this is our third winner. We just couldn't, stop ourselves to give a prize to you guys. Like, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, congratulations. You did an amazing job.
Hey, okay. I'm really happy to hear that we have not one but three winners. I'm always happy to make other people happy. And yeah, I see that Pavel is here and he's saying that it was so fun to create the movie. I'm like super, super glad to hear that. And today is the big 7. We're moving to our to the today's topic. And as usual, I want to ask you a few questions before we will move to the topic. And the questions are, if you're facing a challenge or you need to do some kind of a task or something for school maybe, how do you feel? Are you excited to start this challenge or task, or are you scared of it? Maybe you don't know how to start. I would really love to hear your answers in the chat if you guys can share some, thoughts about it with me. Yeah, I personally sometimes struggle with starting doing something. Like, you just don't know how to start, where to start, what should be the first step. So for me, it could be pretty challenging to start something new. And how would you start solving a challenge or doing a task? Are there like some kind of specific steps for solving any task? Are the steps suitable for all the tasks? What do you think, guys? I have the answer from Nicola. One has run off, but I usually have to talk about it aloud to someone first. Yeah, this is actually very helpful to talk with someone about a task you're starting doing, but sometimes you just don't have any chance to do that. And actually, there is a certain help with like a certain steps you can take to solve any task. And this is what we are going to talk about today. It is an engineering design process. This is like, it sounds a bit complicated at the beginning, I know, but it's just some steps and we're going to talk about them, and they probably will be very, very helpful for you, not only for creating a project with Robo Wunderkind, but also just for solving any task or challenge you have in your life. And now we are going to talk about it a bit in detail. Like, we're going to discuss and just get inspired, build, and code and have fun. So, of course, we're going to learn about engineering design process as a tool for solving challenges. And also, we will be ready to create our own project at the end of the webinar, as we always do. And I remember we already discussed who are engineers. And do you remember who engineers are? And you can see some ideas. Maybe this picture can help you to remember that. Yuri, do you remember who engineers are?
Yeah, engineers are people who are solving problems and creating something.
Yeah, that's actually very good definition. Engineers solve problems with their inventions. Engineering is a process of solving this problem, of designing and building different solutions. These solutions could be very, very different. Machines, structures, or other items like bridges, tunnels, roads, vehicles, buildings, everything is an engineer. So we have different branches of engineering, such as civil, electrical, mechanical, computer, robotics, and even interdisciplinary engineering, which means using everything and all together. And the most important thing you have to remember about engineers, they solve challenges and create new projects. So they deal with this idea of creating something new just from the scratch every day. And they're creators, but do you think they're not afraid of being in this situation of creating something new every day? What do you think, Yuri? Is it easy for them? Is it easy for you to do something like this? Because you're kind of an engineer too. You're like designer, and you're also creating something from the scratch every time. How do you feel?
Yeah, if you have a process, like if you have a structure about how to how to deal with problems, it gets easier with time. So when you know how to deal with problems, it's actually pretty okay.
Yeah, you kind of get used to it. You develop a certain steps that can help you. We also have an answer in the chat from Yelena, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names, but Lena said that I teach kids an engineering design, and we talk about the problem and analyze it. Yeah, exactly. This is the steps you can take for creating something new, and this is exactly what we are going to talk today. And also, just ask yourself: are you an engineer? Yes, if you're curious and love to learn new things. Yes, if you know how to things work, and yes, if you want to create new projects, I have lots of ideas how to do that. You actually an engineer. Why not? And what is it? Design is a process of creating something, right? And you come up with an idea, sketch it, fashion, execute, or construct according to a plan. But what kind of plan? And this plan is called engineering design process. There are different um, very they're not different, but just some variations of this engineering design process. Sometimes there are 7, 9, or 10 different steps. This is the one we use in Robo Wunderkind, and we use it not only for creating something new, but we also use it for teaching with Robo Wunderkind. As you know, some teachers at schools teach with Robo Wunderkind, and this is the engineering design process they use with their kids to create something together. And it consists of 8 different steps, and we're going from them right now. It will be a little bit, of a theory, and then we will take our robot and do all the steps together to create a project together. So the first is you need to identify a reason why you're creating a project. And this reason should be very precise. Sometimes you kind of know what this project or task is, but sometimes you don't really know it very precise. This is why maybe you don't know how to start. So you need to really narrow down what you're going to create. Then you brainstorm. Brainstorming is just collecting ideas together. You can ask someone to help you, or you can maybe just, use Google to find more solutions. This is absolutely very okay. You just need to get inspired and collect as many ideas as you can. Then you evaluate all the ideas, collecting pros and cons, and then just choose one, the best. And then you just pick this one idea and go to the step 4, sketch and plan the project. And when you sketch, you also need to think about materials you will need for a project and prepare everything. As soon as everything is prepared, you work on the solution. And you work, and repeat working sometimes, because sometimes something just, there is a mistake, you need to solve it. So you work and then you test it. And when if test shows you that something is wrong, you go to work on it again and again. And this is absolutely okay. This is like a small circle here that you just need to find the best solution and make it work. Before you can present this solution to someone else, you need to test it and finalize. So you have a final test to make sure everything is working perfectly. And then you go to the step 7. You present your idea to someone, your family, your friends, maybe at school, and you collect feedback. You ask people around just to give you constructive feedback, and also you reflect on your own feelings, how the project went, what could be done better. So, and with all this feedback, you go to the final step, step 8, and you reflect on the project, and you just sum up what you could do better next time. And sometimes it might happen that you need to go from the step 8 to the step one again, because you created a solution, but it didn't fit, or just something went wrong and you need to go to this circle again. And this is absolutely okay, because it's just a circle of designing something, right? And yeah, I just want to ask Yuri, if this is true for you, sometimes do you go to the circle again sometimes, or you always write with your solution?
Yeah, so sometimes it happens that like the solution just doesn't work. So it just makes sense to like analyze the reason again, and maybe like understand that maybe we're not solving the right problem. Maybe there's like another problem which should be solved, or like solved differently. So yeah, it's totally fine to actually go in another circle and to
Yeah, it just
come up.
happens, and it happens to me sometimes when I design the learning materials. I just at the end, when everything is done, I'm like, oh, this actually was wrong from the beginning,
Yeah.
and you just need to go for it again. And this is okay. The more you do of the circles, then more you understand from the beginning, is it going to be right or wrong? Like sometimes now, there's more experience, I can get this feeling at the beginning, just return to the step one. Okay, now it's a bit tricky because it's too theoretical. Let's go to the real project. And today we are going to build a robot measuring device and go through the steps of engineering design process, and also use sensors and conditions. Step one, identify a reason. What is the challenge, task, or idea? And we need to identify and define it very precise. So here we have a short story for you. Let's imagine that we are going to a store, with the whole family, and I just want to buy a new table for all my new projects and ideas. And, it's just too messy on my table now. It's too small. I want a bigger table. But how can I make sure it fits in my room? And how can I measure it? This is the problem situation we have here. So the reason to create our projects, we need to measure the distance between objects, but we don't have a ruler. Okay, we identified the reason, so we're going to brainstorm together. I'll be super happy to see your ideas. How can we measure the distance between two objects if you don't have a ruler? And I will just explain what brainstorming is while you type in some ideas. So brainstorming is the process of collecting all the ideas you have in mind. Collect as many as you can, but do not evaluate them. At this step, the solutions might be very stupid, or they don't necessarily need to be good. They're just ideas in your head. And you can work in a team with someone else to brainstorm even more ideas, because when it's just how our brain works, if we talk to someone else, we collect more and more ideas. We have an idea from Pavel, we can measure time of riding from one to another if you know the speed. Yeah, we can actually, yeah, this is the idea we also have for you. We can build robot with motors and just drive it from one object to another object, and then calculate the speed and calculate the distance. And I remember from school, you can, using the speed and the distance, you can calculate the time, or no, we need the time and then speed, and then we can calculate the distance. Okay, this is an idea, great, a bit too complex. Yeah, we can we estimate the length of something smaller, like hand span, and use this to measure. Exactly, we also have this idea. We can use our palms of fingers to measure the distance, just like this, like people in Middle Ages did it. Also, we can use different models of robot to put them together, and then just knowing the measurements of every model, we can sum them up.
Yeah,
But I think it's,
yeah, if we know the like size of each module, we can kind of like use it as a measuring device, just like stacking them together and kind of like creating the long ruler. That could also be. Yeah.
But I think it's quite complex actually. I feel like a lot of work, measuring each model and so on. So we have another idea.
Yeah, at this stage we're just coming up with different ideas. So like.
Yeah, we just try to collect as many ideas as we could. So the last idea is use the distance sensor for building the measuring device, which probably sounds, the most reasonable one, right? So we decided to evaluate all the ideas and choose just one. So we collected all pros and cons for each solution, discussed them and ranged them, and then we picked the best solution. And this is use the distance sensor to build and program the measuring device. We have some cons here. It's very precise. We have a long range. It's easy to build. It's just adding one module to the main block. And this is easy to operate because you can just, measure it by putting between the objects. And it has some cons, of course. Nothing is perfect. And we think it's quite complex coding process. And also the sonic sensor working principle is a bit challenging.
I can actually explain.
You can explain it. Yeah, sure.
This sort of like, so we take the distance sensor and we kind of like try to evaluate which product it has, right? So the distance sensor, what's cool about it, that it has the pretty long range. So it's from 5 centimeters to 250 centimeters, I think. Yes, pretty precise. So since like close to 1 centimeter, so which is actually pretty good, like with this kind of range. As Sofia already mentioned, it's pretty easy to build. So we just need to like one sensor and like a few other elements if we want to control it and have some feedback. And it's also easy to operate in comparison to some other solutions we had before, like I don't know, like measuring the with some smaller objects where you have to like place it many different times over and over again. Like from the cons, which can be kind of like challenging, is that to make it work properly, you need to code a little bit. So it's like it requires a little bit of coding knowledge. And the way the ultrasonic sensor works, it shoots the sound waves from these two kind of like, let's call it speakers, and it measures time it takes to reflect them back. This way, it measures the distance. So what follows from this is if you have the object which is not like perpendicular, I guess that's the right word, right? Where it kind of like reflects the sound back. If it doesn't reflect the sound back, then the sensor will not measure the distance. So that can be the problem in some cases if object at an angle like, I don't know, like this, right? So it will reflect this way, not back. Or if you have the object with really kind of like complex surface, which will like reflect the sound waves from different directions, that can also cause some problems. But yeah, so I guess we when we know the pros and cons, we know how to operate this device, right? So we just we're gonna measure the distance. We're gonna use the objects which are perpendicularly placed, and yeah, and the coding challenges is not a challenge for us. We can solve everything, right?
Yeah, thank you, Yuri, for details. And now we're moving to the step 4, sketch and plan. And we had Yuri has made an amazing sketch showing us the idea how we can build it. So we prepared the models we will need, and also Yuri, on this sketch we have the idea how the sensor works, right? So how we should put it.
Exactly. Yep.
And then we made the algorithm because we think the coding part is quite complex here. So we created the algorithm.
If we go to one step back, I want to, yeah, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, so we, for our measuring device, we have, other than distance sensor, we have a few other modules like the LED, for example, for indication when the device is working. We want it to be shining on when we kind of like push the button, and it will indicate us that it's on and measuring. So yeah, these are the few like requirements we had while building this device, and yeah, we implemented it into our device as well.
Yeah, we also use the button to turn the device on because we don't want our device working all the time, right? It's not what we need. We just need to switch it on and off. Thanks for adding this. I just slipped off my mind. And yeah, then we created an algorithm when we, if you remember, the algorithm is the just step-by-step instruction for ours, and then we translated it into the code. So this is our plan. We have the Robo measuring device, it's off, nothing happens. Then we press the button, Robo is on and starts measuring. It identifies the distance in centimeters and it shows us the numbers. And then as soon as identification is done, it's a loop. We're going back to switching off if we want to. And this is the time to start working on our solution, and we're going to build, program, test, and repeat if needed. And from now on, we probably make Yuri bingo. Yuri, you know the biggest picture, so you can show us the work in progress.
I think yes, I will have to share my screen as well. So
yeah, sure. I can just stop actually sharing mine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So on the building side, it's pretty straightforward, right? So we have like not as many modules. We just have the ultrasonic, the main block, LED, and a body. So we're just gonna connect those together. Let me just grab another connector. So yeah, that should work. Yeah, so connecting the blocks just like this. So we have the ultrasonic sensor facing forward. We'll place the button, yeah, so on this side of the build, so we can like hold it this way and then kind of like it ergonomically fits under your thumb, so to press. And then we add the indication somewhere on the front. It doesn't really matter actually, like whatever suits better for you, that should work. So, but we will place it in the front of the build on the ultrasonic sensor like this. So let's turn our build on, and I will jump into programming and we'll try to share my screen to show you the programming process in Blockly. Okay. So okay, you should be able to see it. Let me make it a bit larger, like that. Okay, so I hope that's visible. So let me know, guys, in the chat if you can actually see the screen. And we will go to programming to create the code for our. Awesome, that's great. Okay, so to start with the project, let's just create a new one. So let's kind of like analyze the few states which we're gonna need for our project to work. So the first one, so we can definitely say that we will need an LED to be turned on and off. So we can start with those actions, with those commands, and kind of like place them in the code in advance to kind of like start the start the base for our project. So the one command should be turning the LED, setting the LED on, and we'll be setting the LED off. So the we're also gonna need some if flow blocks. So we're gonna need the if else condition, right? I guess that's the right name for it. So for this one, we're gonna need the whole kind of code be repeated in a forever loop. So we in the first part, so the robot will go through the code and will check. Okay, if the what should actually happen for our device to start measuring distance? So we're gonna need our button, right? So we so if the button is pressed, then set the LED to like the full brightness. Otherwise, set it to black or off. So this can be the first part of the project, and like if we press play right now, we can press it.
Mine is working. I'm doing with you together. Mine is working perfectly.
Okay. I think I have the problems with the connection here. All right, I'm not connected to my robot here. So yeah, I'm actually connected to a different one. So let me connect to that one.
Too many robots around you. I see. Yes. I see.
Okay. So yeah, that should work. Okay, cool. That works. So if I press the play button, so you will see the like the green dot kind of like jumping around. I think it's a really cool feature of RoboBlock, the app. It kind of allows you to see what exactly is happening and which part of code is executing in the moment. So you can see that it's jumping back and forth between if and else. So if I press the button, then it will jump between, so it will go into this loop of this particular piece of code where if the button is pressed, the LED will be set to white. And you can see that LED is actually turned on while I'm holding the button. So if I release it, so the code will be going into the else part where the button is not pressed. Okay. So that can be like a base of our project. So the next thing we will need is to create a variable where we will write our distance. So we will measure the distance and write into the variable, and then monitor the variable in the monitor on the top left corner.
This is where the real coding starts, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah. So why we actually? So like for those who are not familiar what variables are, so this is kind of like a like storage where you can like write the different information, right? So let's think about it as a pocket for information. So we kind of like placing this information into the box, right? Exactly as Pavel said. So we're placing this information into the box, and then we checking what kind of information in this box. So why we're doing that? Why we're doing it this way? We could do it another way to just place the like distance sensor into the monitor there, but like it will constantly measure the distance, and like we do not want that. We only want the distance to be measured in one particular like time, right? When we hit the button. And on the other side, like from the technical point of view, it will kind of like make a lot of load onto the Bluetooth connection, because like the communication with robot and the tablet is happening constantly, so it needs to update and pull the data from the sensor, which actually makes it pretty hard for robot to perform quickly. So yeah, so it will make it easier for us and for robot to make through variables. I don't know. I hope it makes sense. I'm sorry if it's a bit too complicated. Like if you have any questions regarding anything, let me know. But yeah, so I will explain you as we go forward how the variable actually works. So yeah, so let's go to variable tab, bottom of the programming screen, and create a variable. So we can we tap on the button, we see the dialog for creating a variable. Yeah, so it takes a few seconds for it to be streamed for you guys, but okay, now you can see it. And we can name our variable whatever we want, but in our case, let's say we're gonna call it distance. Distance, okay, so I'm placing, I'm naming it distance. So the variable type in our case should be just a number, and the default value can be 0, so it's fine for us. And we press OK, and the variable is created. Okay, awesome. So the next step would be then how, like, we should write into this variable the distance which we are measuring. So, and we only need to write it. We only need to measure the distance when we press the button. So this is the kind of like the first part of our code. So we write into a variable by using the set command. So we place the set command into the first part of the code if the button is pressed. So we set the distance to, we choose the value block of the distance sensor. So we set the distance to the current value of the distance sensor. Okay.
So let me just expand once again. It's just having the value from the distance sensor to the box with this value, which is variable.
Exactly. Yeah. So in this case, if we press play, so the code will be executed. And so if I press the button, then it will go into this loop where it sets the light to white and then writes into the variable. But to be able to see what it writes there, we need to kind of like check, to check the variable and like monitor the variable. To do that, we just grab it from the dock from the bottom of the screen, and we drag it towards the top left corner and place it into this monitor. The monitor place. We'll place it into the monitor, right? And so in this case, when we start the project, so now when I press the button, you can see that it shows me how much is the distance right now. So it checks the variable and displays it live in the top left corner. So, and if I release the button, it's so it saves the last measured value, and I can see it there. So it was 27 centimeters to my display of my laptop. So, okay. So this is how we programmed our project. Let me guys know if you have any questions, or if you were able to recreate it, if you're doing it with us.
I see that Nico had some problems, but she got it. So are you on the same page with us? How is it working now? It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes it takes some time to understand something new. I mean, squash or broccoli isn't the easiest one, so that's all fine, I think.
Yeah, so you can also play around with different settings and like placing different, like for example, in the monitor, you can place the distance right into the like monitor window. So this way, like when you point the sensor into different directions, you will be able to see that it actually changing, and yeah, you can actually distance this way as well. So yeah, so you can try different options. There's definitely not only one solution to this, and maybe you will discover your own. So, and we will be actually really happy to see with like if you have any other ideas how to program the measuring device. Yeah, we'll be happy to see that and maybe even share it with our community.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's always cool to see how many different solutions you can actually create for one task, and programming and design is the best, you know, field for creating many different solutions and just,
Okay.
you know.
Cool.
Let's
Yeah, so we're done
come
with screen, right? So I can stop sharing the screen, I
Yeah,
guess.
sure. It's okay. Like we're going back to our presentation. As you can see, we just finished the step 5. We worked on the solution, we built, we programmed, and now we tested and finalized it. We checked is everything ready for presenting the solution, any props needed, because I feel like presentation is a big part of the solution. This is very important how exactly you present something. And step 7 is present your solution. You can also tell a short story about how was it, how you made the project, what kind of props you use, what kind of maybe difficulties you faced and you overcame them. This is also a great part of the presentation. And also please ask for constructive feedback. We also will be happy to hear your constructive feedback about our project and what we could make better next time. It would be just great if you have any feedback. And yeah, let's imagine we already presented our solution and told you the story. So now it's the step 8, the one which is the last but not the least. And this is you need to reflect on the process, what worked, what didn't, how can you make it better next time, and also analyze the feedback we got, or maybe we need to go through the 8 steps again. It was pretty easy, the whole 8 steps. We went from them with you. If you have any questions, it's just a perfect time to ask, and we will move to our goal of the week. Do we have any questions?
Okay.
No, as I can see. Maybe you can post the polls now.
If you don't have any questions, we have some questions for you. So we will ask them in our polls. So I will ask, yeah, I will publish a few posts in the chat. So it would be really great if you could help us and answer some questions regarding like who is participating in winners on your side, and yeah, some other ones.
Yeah, cool.
So if you have any feedback or you think we could improve something in this during our webinars, feel free to share it with us in the chat on the right side.
Yeah, cool. So this is the time to announce our goal. The next challenge is itself a challenge user Robo Wunderkind and the engineering design process. So we would really love to see how you use this process, what kind of steps. Maybe you can draw it, maybe you can just take a picture of the process, because we honestly think that the result is great, but the main focus should be on the process. And we would really love to see not only your result, your final project, but the process, how you were creating it, what kind of maybe difficulties you faced, or maybe it was quick and easy. We would really love to know that. So just take pictures or draw it if you want.
Yeah, so it would be really great to see some sketches or some behind the scenes of your project when you create it.
Yeah, cool. And here's some inspiration. I prepared two short videos for you. One of them is about what's an engineer, and another one is about an engineering process. This is just if you want to watch a video at home to, just revise some information we already talked about today. And sure, if you don't have a robot, no worries. You can always participate in our challenges without having a robot at home. So just draw, make it with any crafts or materials, submit it, collect the stars, and win the prize. Yay!
Awesome.
Don't forget to post it and hashtag us.
Cool. Yeah. So to submit your projects, make sure you use the hashtag RoboMakersMarathon on Instagram, or you can submit it directly to us via email. So I will post this information in the chat right now, so you can exactly see which hashtag and which emails to use. You can also check our YouTube channel for some tutorials and ideas about what kind of projects you can create. Also, yeah, so collect your star for this webinar using this link at the bottom of the message. Yeah, so we'll get your star. Cool.
Cool. Today we are running a little bit of time. It's a bit late. Thank you for watching us the whole hour today. It's really nice too, and I hope everything was understandable, and we really hope that this design process, the steps of this design process, thinking process, will help you to solve any challenge in your life.
Yeah, so thank you guys a lot for joining us for this week. Just a few comments, like you don't really have to use Blockly for your projects. Like if you think it was like a bit complicated or challenging for you can definitely use any other of the apps, the RoboCode or RoboLife, it's totally fine. Okay, great. So joining us, thank you for submitting all your amazing ideas and projects. You guys are amazing. And yeah, so let's have a great week, and we'll see you next week on the week 8 of Robo Makers Marathon. Thank you.
Hey, bye-bye.